Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you've enjoyed your week and you're getting ready for a wonderful weekend. Today, as the start of my Fun Fact Friday series, I want to start by discussing the overall energy consumption of a ducted fume hood and the pollution generated and thrown out into atmosphere that a ducted fume hood creates. So let's start talking about the energy consumption. As you can see from a My Green Lab presentation in 2016, we have a quick snapshot of the overall GWH a year consumed by standard lab equipment from -80 freezers all the way down to autoclaves. But as you can see, the biggest energy consuming piece of equipment installed in a laboratory is the ducted fume hood, averaging between 660 to 1300 GWH a year. If you were to take all of the fume hoods installed in the US, which is estimated to be about 75,000, that's $4.2 billion in energy consumed a year, just in ducted fume hoods. On average, that's $4,300 to $9,300 a year consumed in energy per 6-foot ducted fume hood. Yes, I understand this is a variable number, but that is the average cost. This is an antiquated technology that takes conditioned air from that laboratory to throw it out into atmosphere to then have to recondition that air and start the process over and over and over and over again. This is a tremendous amount of energy, CO2 emission, and overall pollution generated from these systems. There has to be a better way. But let's circle back to the overall pollution. What's actually generated? Aren't these fume hoods filtered? Isn't the air that enters the atmosphere filtered? How is it generating pollution? That is one of the misconceptions. Actually, where does it go? The pollution actually goes out into atmosphere. So for the person walking down the street, the busy city streets of Cambridge or Boston or Los Angeles, in these inner cities, New York City, where you have labs everywhere, that pollution is just generated. Those emissions are consumed by us walking down the street or an innocent child walking down the street. In fact, the EPA has done studies of what happens to that air. Well, you have wind studies performed, you have reentrainment, you have a building adjacent to the actual laboratory that doesn't even have labs. They aren't even generating these emissions. They're getting exposed because you have the wind that blows. Those molecules don't care where they go. They're going to go wherever that wind blows. And then those people are now introduced to those harmful pollutants, let alone the reentrainment that happens in the actual lab that's trying to throw out these emissions. And in fact, the EPA allows 100% of the threshold limit value of the chemicals to be released within 100 feet of the exhaust stack. Now, a traditional fume hood exhaust stack has to be 10 feet high from the rooftop. Within 100 feet of that exhaust stack, they allow 100% of the TLV to be released. Within 450 feet, they want 1% of that TLV to be seen. Now, their answer, dilution is the solution to pollution. I ask everybody listening to this presentation, is that a real logical approach to continue on with? Isn't there a better way? We have to start thinking differently. We cannot continue to do things the same way. I have a quick study here. We have to talk about our new reality. Our new reality is after COVID-19. Before COVID-19, we look at the air pollution. We look at the air quality. You can see from the graphs, the pictures to the left are actually pictures taken from NASA, and the pictures to the right, pictures of Los Angeles, and you can see the air quality differentials. There's something to be said about us as humans having a stay-at-home order, not continuing to pollute the atmosphere. Yes, there's a lot of factors that go into that. There's obviously the reduced emissions from the automobiles. We understand that. But there's a lot of factors that play into the actual air becoming cleaner. Is this Mother Nature telling us something? Is it telling us that we need to start living a different way? To me, the answer is absolutely. We cannot continue down the same path that we've been continuing down for years and years and years. There's a better way. And with that, I say filtration. Filtration is one of the easiest and simplest ways to integrate a safe solution into the laboratory without polluting the atmosphere, without consuming a tremendous amount of energy. One 6-foot ducted fume hood consumes about $270 a year in energy. versus $4,300 to $9,300 a year. There's a huge savings from both an energy standpoint, but as well from an overall economical standpoint and the reduction of overall pollution. So from the start of my Fun Fact Fridays, we're talking about air quality and energy and overall emissions. And I'm going to continue on this series with what happens with filters when we have to dispose of them, following a whole safety series. How can we guarantee safety with our filtration technology? But today, let's ponder what I just said. Let's really think about how we can all improve the way we design labs, the way we add laboratory equipment, and just how we can improve upon our lives so that maybe, just maybe, we can see a better future. With that, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week.